Good morning. Good morning. Or, no, it's afternoon. Someday our atomic clock will be fixed so it will show the correct time. All right, I am Bobby Hall, President of the Board of Trustees here at the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you here for this really wonderful occasion. We're having a slight change on the program. The very first thing we're going to do is the invocation. And so our practitioner emeritus, Connie Sigenbein, will do our invocation.
Good afternoon. Let us bring our attention to this wonderful day, this wonderful celebration, knowing that there is one thing that we are here to celebrate, and that is the Spirit. The Spirit that resides in each and every one of us, that is alive and is bringing forth our greater good. I particularly know that those that have chosen this path are guided and directed by the consciousness of their thoughts to say yes to something greater than they are and to expand their lives in a beautiful way, always choosing to go to a higher understanding and a greater good. And I particularly know this truth for Reverend Robert, who once again has said yes to a new way of being, a new church, new ideas, and a new way. He has come once again to expand into the unknown and let that greatness fill him with all that he needs. And in our church, that we together will grow under his leadership. We know that this truly is a wonderful day of celebration and blessing. And I also acknowledge all the ministers that are here that have taken this step. And I know they too understand and wish him well and in the encouragement. And we are grateful for their presence. We're grateful for the presence of all who are here to celebrate. And it is with great pleasure that I acknowledge that something new and wonderful is occurring. And I ask you to say with me, and so it is.
All right. So I am going to introduce to you Reverend Susan Overland, who is our Regional Support Coordinator, and she will be the presiding minister this morning. Reverend Susan has been a member of the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose since May of 2001. She became a practitioner in 2005 and obtained her master's in consciousness studies in 2011. As associate minister at San Jose, she is dedicated to inspiring transformation and possibility in the lives of others. Whether as a speaker, facilitator, director, or teacher, her passionate, quick-witted, and straightforward point of view gives new perspective to living the science of mind and spirit. Reverend Susan has built quite the resume at the center in her journey from attendee to minister to practitioner. Attendee to member to practitioner to minister. Don't want to skip any steps. Every area of operations has felt her presence and influence. Business operations, programs, education, etc. In addition, her creativity brings numerous summer programs, roasts, toasts, plays, and parody concerts. In February of this year, she took on the role of Regional Support Coordinator for Region 3. Prior to her call to ministry, Reverend Susan had a thriving career at Hewlett-Packard, and along the way, collected numerous awards for her theater work from New York to California. She lives in the Rose Garden area of San Jose with her husband Max, a licensed practitioner, and their new puppy, Cara, a 3-pound Maltese poo who keeps them on their toes. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Susan Overland.
It's me falling upstairs. That was a perfect 10, except for the Russian judge. Okay. I'm really happy to be with all of you. Thank you so much. What a beautiful afternoon. We're going to have our ministers process in, and then Connie is our licensed practitioner. Connie, are you in the room? Thank you. I'm sorry we couldn't hear that from the back. Thank you so much. So please allow me to welcome our ministers who are with us today. Reverend Ann Young, who is already seated from our home community here, CSL Monterey. She is a staff minister who is apparently no one is letting you retire. And so thank you for being here today. Reverend Willa Barbara Johnson, who is a minister at large with the Centers for Spiritual Living. We might want to open the door so that the ministers can hear. Reverend Willa Barbara Johnson. Reverend Tony Bradford, minister at large with the Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Cindy Hart, a staff minister here at Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Anthony Jackson, East Bay Church of Religious Science, assistant minister. Reverend Catherine Sops. She is somewhat retired, and she hangs her hat at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Sally Bartholomew, minister at large with the Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Ike Parham, a New Thought prison outreach minister. She resides in Oakland, California. Reverend Kathleen Gear. She is the senior minister with God at Play virtual ministry. Everywhere, everywhere there's God at Play. Reverend Liz Morante. She's the former senior minister here in Monterey from 2008 to 2013, and now she's on the loose in Seattle. Reverend Dr. Barbara Galloway, Associate Minister, Church of the Bay by the Presidio of the Road in Berkeley, California. Reverend Sherry Lynn Greer with Sherry Lynn Ministries. And now please help me welcome our honoree, the new senior minister of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Robert E. Collins. And now I'd like to appreciate and welcome our musicians for the day. Amber Guzman is going to bring her beautiful vocals to the stage, accompanied by Troy Arnett.
Wasn't that lovely? Thank you, Amber and Troy, and I'm so glad I picked up some tissue because it started now. Will it grab your mic? Thank you. The reading is entitled The Paths. Thank you. Can you hear me better? Red light. Green light. It's the first time I've been in a church in a year and a half, so cut me a little slack. I don't know how to turn the red light on. I'm pushing the button and it's not working. Thank you, Reverend Robert. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to be supported wherever we are. So the reading is entitled, The Paths We Did Not Know. He, Spirit, leads upon by paths we did not know. There is an abiding desire to know the future, to see around the corner of the days and the years. Even when we say we do not concern ourselves about what will happen next month or next year, the shy insistence still remains. We want to know. This feeling is normal. It's a part of the all anxiety which we face on the threshold of any new adventure. If we could be sure that all will be well, if we could have some guarantee that our greatest hopes would not betray us and leave us deserted to the lonely place, then we would find a peace that belongs to the contented. But life is not like that. The future is never quite a thing apart from all that has gone before. We bring into the present ingredients and cargoes from the past, and these are with us as we take the unknown road. All that we have learned, felt, and thought, all our experience from birth to now, all the love that nourished us at other times, all the yearnings rooted in our spiritus, all these are with us as we move into the unknown way. And then there is the witness of others who have gone along the road we take. True, the road will mean for us something unique, but not altogether unique. The generations meet and share in ways beyond our grasp. The secrets of the new path, the first sight, the beginning way, the first step, the beginning way. He, Spirit, leads us on by paths we did not know. And that was by Howard Thurman in The Inward Journey.
Declaration of Principles. We believe in one God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the internality, the immorality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of each person, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe in the universal spirit, which is God. It operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impacts of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the internal goodness, the internal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
Amber, you have another song?
I was like, it's so quiet. I didn't get a program. So.
We got you.
Yeah. Thank you, Troy, for playing today. Troy Arnett today on piano.
I may never climb a mountain so I can see the world from there. I may never take ride the waves and taste the salty ocean air, or build a bridge that will last 100 years. But no matter where the road leads, one thing is always clear. I am blessed. I am blessed. When I rise up in the morning till I lay my head to rest, I feel you near me. You Woo! We are.
We are.
We are. We are. We are blessed. We are blessed.
Yes, we are blessed. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Troy. Now let's see if I can turn the mic on. Ah, it's on. Thank you. Do I have to? Can you hear me now? Yeah. So we'll start again. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Amber. You have truly blessed this day. I'm blessed. Everybody in this room is blessed from your music, and the live streamers are too. So welcome, one and all. My name is Reverend Kathleen, and I am blessed and honored to be the keynote speaker today about the journey that we're taking, the journey that's been taken. So I'm glad to see Robert's family here, Reverend Robert's family is here, his guests, his friends from Oakland, all of us that have traveled the journey with him. I think the reading was so profound, how Dr. Howard Thurman's words spoken to us about the past we do not know about. And that's a perfect place for us to start and set the stage for what's about to happen. So we're here for Reverend Robert's installation, and I like to think of it more as a marriage between Reverend Robert and the congregation. And it was a marriage that was in the making for a long while. So we're going to travel back in time a little bit. And with permission from Reverend Robert, I'm going to share some of the stories, but I'm going to set the stage so you can ask him more questions in regards to his journey that brought him to this place and this time. So Robert was born and raised in Louisiana, and then he became an almost native Californian. And when I say that, he moved to Long Beach. His family moved to Long Beach. And while at Long Beach, shortly after Long Beach, he came up here for a gathering. He came up here for a Silmar. And oh, by the way, it wasn't the Centers for Spiritual Living, and it wasn't United Church, and it wasn't RSI that brought him up here. So a long time ago in a far-off land, and I won't say the dates wrong. Thank you. Okay, I won't say the dates. Well, let's put it this way. It was in his teen years that he came to Asilmar, and he actually fell in love with the area. So Spirit was setting it up. Spirit was preparing this day, this time. And then this interesting thing happened. When he was back in Long Beach, somebody named Mama invited or called up and let him know that this woman, this young lady named Greer was going to be visiting and came down into Long Beach. And, well, Robert said it wasn't his first date, but it was. Because the minute he met her, he says, I'm going to marry that girl someday. Okay. Now, Greer lived here in the Bay Area. Robert was in Southern California. And of course, you know, I'm God at play. And their first date was at Disneyland. Of course! How can you not fall in love with somebody at Disneyland? That magical, mystical place. And with that, you know, Robert said, I'm going to marry that girl. So when I go to college, away to college, you know, you have the choice of Cal State Long Beach, which I'm an alumni of. You could have stayed right there, but oh no. Robert put in for 3 Bay Area, or Greater Bay Areas. One of them, Stanislaus, and he didn't even know where that was, other than it was in Northern California. But as fate would have it, he ended up at Cal State East Bay. Cal State East Bay. And so basically, and I could have this right, it could be a little wrong, but basically 2 years after he met Greer, he asked her to marry him. And then set the stage for his family life, his career. I mean, without that, we wouldn't have his beautiful daughters here. Or his grandsons, or his great-grandchildren. Okay? And interesting enough, when they got married, where would they honeymoon to? It was down the street a little bit. It was Carmel. But the idea was, it was still in the greater Monterey area. We'll call it Monterey County. Now, at that point, there was no idea in the presence of Robert, Reverend Robert, that he would take the path of ministry. There was the idea that he would be, my word, a social activist. That he would stand up for justice. Because, hint, hint, this is one of the questions you can ask him about his seminar at Sylmar. Had to do about what was going on in the times. Had to do with what's going on today. Social activism. Community activity is what activism is what it's called. But again, he was here in Monterey. And he's going, you know what? I love the beauty of this place. I love that all it brings. Greer was even in the boat with him at the time, that she enjoyed the area. Then he made the fatal mistake of taking Greer to Mendocino. Okay, so she kind of like that, but he was always drawn here, but they'd go back and forth when they vacationed. Okay. Still not really knowing that he was going down the path of ministry. But the truth of the matter is, any of us that are in ministry today know that that's what we signed up for. That's that underneath pattern that kind of is always bringing us and gearing us home. I don't sell S-A-I-L, I sell S-A-L-E. But if you know anybody that sells S-A-I-L, you know that it's not a direct path. It's not a direct path. You have to go this way, and then you go this way, and you go this way, and you go this way. Okay? But you eventually get there. You eventually get there. So then we fast forward a little bit, and I'm going to mention dates now, because I feel comfortable with it. Won't mention the other dates. Right? Now, believe it or not, Robert and I have known each other for 2 centuries. And 2 centuries. We knew each other, and probably before. But we first met in the 90s. And some of you know Ron Marshall, who's kind of headed down that path of ministry also. But Greer and Robert, Reverend Robert, and Ron Marshall, and Wilma, and I all attended something called Summit. We were looking for that, and we were answering to that inner journey that was calling us. How can I be better than what I am? And then about the same time, we found ourselves at First Church Oakland. Now, I had always been going to Oakland even when I was at Summit. But all of a sudden one day I turned around and there is Greer and Wilma sitting next. Greer and Robert sitting next to me. And the next week it was Wilma and Ron. And I'm going, okay. So we were at First Church, and then when East Bay formed, then Robert and Reverend Robert and Greer went over to East Bay. And so then we're taking our classes. We're not in any classes together, yet we were still in touch with each other. The next thing, fast forward, it's 1997 and we're in the hottest building downtown Oakland, where they still lifted windows up, and we're doing our oral panels for practitionership. Okay, we're doing our orals. I get all East Bay ministers and practitioners, and Robert gets all Oakland practitioners and ministers. Okay. We passed. And then we went on our journey, and I said, you know, Robert, I'm thinking about going to ministry, school of ministry. What about you? When are you coming along? Oh, no, that's not yet, not yet. You went to Oklahoma. Let's hear it for Oklahoma, where of course I have roots. You know, there's some other people in here that have roots in Oklahoma, but that was where his journey took him for a bit. And then he found his way back to Oakland. And eventually into the school of ministry with his good buddy C. Mike. Right? And Anthony, I think you were in that class too. And, you know, powerful class. A powerful class. Okay? So the journey started, and I don't know when, you have to ask him in regards to Monterey. Brings them through the school of ministry, but while they're vacationing, they're still always vacationing, either in Mendocino or Monterey. Mendocino or Monterey. And then life, of course, takes its courses. It has you do a career, it has you retire, it has you become a grandparent, it has you do something that is one of the greatest gifts as a minister that you could possibly do. And that's hold the hand of somebody that you love as they take their journey. And what it does is it makes you go deeper in your journey. It makes you go deep to that place called faith. That's been running you all along. You just didn't quite know it. So he's called by faith. He does what a great partner does. He loves through it. And then he comes back to Oakland, East Bay, to be fully into being a minister. Not that he wasn't just fully into ministry, but to fully be engaged. And he volunteered, he said yes to being the regional coordinator, where most of us know him from. If you weren't in the Oakland churches, you know him from that. And Robert and I, through all of this, kept in contact. Because he knows that I'm kind of the irreverent reverend. He also knows that when there were churches that needed some assistance and they needed somebody to talk, I would go talk. Or if there were practitioners where the minister was, he would invite them actually to call me. And Robert and I spent some more time together driving to different churches. And, or if I saw a church that was a little bit in trouble, I would call him up and say, hey, Robert, I think they need some assistance. They need your love, your support. Because when you think of Reverend Robert, that's who he is. He's the essence of pure love. He's the essence of God. So he understands what a marriage is because he's experienced it in his real life, in his daily life. And now he gets to make the commitment, and that's what we're here to do, is to witness the commitment called an installation of the marriage between CSL Monterey and Reverend Robert. But the truth is, he already made that commitment. He made that commitment the moment he said yes. The moment he filled out his application to be considered a candidate here. And I remember last year, the beginning of last year, the beginning of 2020, Robert had been speaking here. And Robert and I had a conversation that went kind of like this. I think I'm going to apply. Why haven't you? Hello? Everybody knows you're the perfect candidate for there, including Monterey. And oh, by the way, that was before I even came and spoke the first time, Bobby. I already knew. Okay. You know, but it took Robert a little while before he applied. Because he needed to turn inward. He needed to take that inward journey to listen to Spirit. To listen to Spirit. He needed to remember who he was. He needed to understand that he had been fully called to this moment in time. And by the way, everything led him here, whether he was selling this way, or selling this way, or selling this way. It brought him here to this moment in time. So, what's it mean? These are really for Reverend Robert and for the congregation, or those people that pass through the doors here. What does it mean to be the senior minister in the congregation in our lifetime? What does it mean to have this marriage? It means to have the unconditional love that we heard about in the principles that Reverend Ann read. You know, the one God, the one love. It means to tap into our soul and listen to those still moments. It means to be in communication with each other. It means to be respectful of each other. It means to trust and support each other. That's what the true values of a marriage is, with the key being communication. It means not leaving this building angry at each other. Not that I could ever see Reverend Robert angry. But it means to make sure you talk. In the Centers for Spiritual Living in the early 2000s, we came up with this word that everybody has misconstrued and misused until we're finally at a place that we understand it. And the word is consensus. It means to be in consensus. And consensus means that everybody gets to talk. Not at the same time, but everybody gets to share their thoughts about something, their thoughts about a decision. And then collectively together, you come up with the decision. That's the life for the Center, Monterey, and for Reverend Robert. That's the life. And it's done from a place of love. And what I would say is, and when you're in doubt, take that 45-degree angle and look where the ceiling and the wall meets. Lift your eyes for the inspiration. Lift your eyes to understand, what is the next words I need to say here? Kind of like I'm doing right now. No. Lift your eyes for the inspiration and be still. Take a breath. Listen, and let Spirit guide you. Let faith guide you in that moment. Now, what's the marriage or installation mean to the rest of us? The people that are live streaming, the people that have come down to help celebrate or come in to help celebrate, friends, family. We too need to provide the guiding principles of love and support. We're here to be their love and their support. We're here to lift them in prayer. The Centers for Spiritual Living Monterey, the Reverend Robert, we're here to lift them in prayer and to know that they're divinely guided. That's our role. So, what would the next steps be? Besides Reverend Susan coming up here and doing the installation, the official, yes I am, the official marriage that we're all going to support. The next steps are to remember what Reverend Robert shared, to remember the quotes that will bring him home to his faith, the quotes from Hebrews that faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It's the evidence of things we cannot see. That is what a spiritual community is bonded with. That unconditional love that flows through anything. that faith that Robert didn't even know about when he came north to Monterey for the first time. Okay. The other part is from the Ernest Holmes, be pure of heart. Be pure of heart. And then, of course, we have the great teachings of Dr. Thurman. Hold before me, keep me steady what my resolve is. Hold that clearly before me as the center as well as Reverend Robert. Be mindful, come back to these. And then, of course, I love the Psalms. I lift my eyes, and physically lift your eyes to that place where the ceiling and the wall meet, if that's where you are. And take a breath and listen. Be still and listen. For the truth is, that's what faith is. You know, we've all come this far by something that's been navigating us along the way. We are in our perfect place. It's a perfect time, and it's a great opportunity for both of the CSL Monterey community and for Reverend Robert and all of us that are friends and family of both. And I am honored, I'm totally honored to be part of the family here at CSL Monterey. I kind of adopted myself into that, and, you know, and as Amber so beautifully said, I am blessed because of that relationship. I am blessed with the relationship with Robert. I'm blessed with the relationship with this community. And I know it was by faith that collectively we all came together. And I just want to say, what a beautiful blessing that we have 4 ministers from this community sitting here to support Reverend Robert, that were part of this community at one time in their life. And the practitioners, the beautiful practitioner corps that they have. And he's kind of adopted the God at Play practitioner corps a little bit. And thank you, Liz, for representing them. And with that, I just want you all to take a breath together, to look up and think about what Spirit, what God, what you're being told, what you're hearing right now, that is a word of wisdom that at some point today you can share with Reverend Robert or somebody that's within the community called Monterey that blesses them on their journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. That was beautiful. So I'm now up here in an official capacity, but before I start, Robert, please indulge me. I have to go off script for a minute. You can stay there for a minute. I'll call you out when it's time. Have a seat, relax. You're gonna be busy after today.
You're gonna talk about it for a minute?
Just a second, just a quick second. I entered the School of Ministry, the Holmes Institute School of Leadership, when Robert was in his senior year. So was Anthony, so was Reverend Jeff, who I know is here today. And I have an inner 12-year-old. I have to share that. And School of Ministry is rolling admissions. So you just enter and you walk into a room full of strangers and you're already terrified. I was already terrified. Maybe some people aren't. But I have an inner 12-year-old that's like, oh my God, I'm the new girl again. And there was this senior and upperclassman who was graduating that year that I entered. And he had these twinkling eyes. And I can't remember if it was a class or a retreat, but at some point I shared how increasingly challenging it was to sit in staff meetings during the day at my job at Hewlett-Packard, but to also be working part-time at my center. And I loved the people that I worked with during the day. I really did love them. But there was something inside of me every time we had a staff meeting about the next big product release or marketing thing or this and that. Something inside of me was screaming, I don't belong here. But I was still so scared, and what I shared was I felt like I had a foot in two worlds, and the chasm was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And on a break, the man with the twinkling eyes came up to me and said, I was in that position not too long ago, and I left. And I have never looked back, nor have I ever regretted it. And I don't even know if you remember that. You probably don't, because it was a long time ago, and it was just a break room conversation kind of thing, or a conversation on a break, but it was deeply moving, and it changed the trajectory of my life. Wow. And I had to share that for a minute, because the significance now of me being able to stand here in whatever official capacity. I'm still Susan. I'm still a 13-year-old. That's a little scared to be standing here. But, well, the honor is profound, Robert. And so, ministers, Board of Trustees, licensed practitioners, congregation and friends, those of you who are part of the virtual community today, we're gathered to install this minister of religious science as the official minister of this member center. Official notification, it's very official today. Official notification has been received by the Centers of Spiritual Living, our home office in Golden, Colorado, that Reverend Robert Edward Collins has been duly chosen to be the senior minister of the spiritual leader of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. A senior minister, a spiritual leader of religious science acts in a fourfold capacity in fulfilling the ministerial office. First and foremost, they serve as the minister to the congregation and counselor to all those who come for help or guidance. The senior minister serves as the spiritual leader of the people and has sole charge of the ecclesiastical functions of the center. The conduct of spiritual services, the performance of all ministerial functions, the direction of the youth program, the pastoral supervision for ministry of prayer, and the privilege of ministering to the spiritual needs of this congregation. That's why I said sit for a minute, you're going to be busy. As senior minister and spiritual leader, one serves as an official and accredited teacher of religious science under the authority and charter granted to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living by the Leadership Council of the Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado. And lastly, every minister of religious science must first have received license and recognition as a practitioner before they may be licensed or ordained a minister. Therefore, Reverend Robert serves always as a practitioner to the needs of the people when the call is made. And so I now present to the Board of Trustees of this congregation of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Robert Collins, to be duly installed as the official minister. We're not done yet. Earlier today, you heard our Declaration of Principles as read by Reverend Ann. Do you accept these principles and promise to adhere to them and make them the basis of your teaching?
I do.
Do you so consecrate yourself to the ministry that you will always do your utmost to reflect the Christ consciousness within in all that you think, say, and do?
I do.
Do you dedicate yourself that you will be constantly aware of the Spirit within all people and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person perfect in mind, in body, and in spirit?
I do.
Do you promise to minister faithfully and lovingly to the people now committed to your charge, and to seek ever to be an example of moderation, patience, and loving kindness?
I do.
Robert, may the infinite spirit which empowers you to do all these things grace you with the strength faithfully to perform the same and to live the vision of this center and the vision of the centers for spiritual living. Amen, brother.
Amen.
I would like to ask Bobby and the members of the Board of Trustees for the Monterey Center to please stand. Members of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living and all of our esteemed guests, we now present to you those individuals who have been duly elected to serve on your Board of Trustees. Not only do these board members oversee the business affair of your center, but the individual and collective awareness establishes a consciousness for the entire congregation. Thank you for all that you do. And now I ask you, as board members, do you promise to follow the light of truth, always seeking to be aware of what is right, rather than who is right? If so, say, I do. I do. And do you accept Reverend Robert Collins as your minister and spiritual leader and teacher? If so, please say, I do. I do. Good job. Thank you. You may be seated. Someday I'm going to rewrite this and add the question, and do you allow your minister lovingly to make mistakes? Thank you. I know I went off script again. I would like to invite the practitioners, whether you're from Monterey or a visiting center, to please stand. This minister, Reverend Robert, knows and understands the role of the licensed practitioner as part of the ecclesiastical team. You are the healing arm of any center and of this denomination. You establish and maintain a continued consciousness of the spiritual vision of the center, and you also carry out most of your work in the great and powerful silence, right? The fruits of this work are manifested as demonstrations in your lives, your clients, and your center. So do you consecrate yourself to this spiritual vision and activity? If so, please say, I do. I do. Can you always promise that it will be obvious where your commitment is? If so, say, I do. I do. And do you accept Reverend Robert Collins as your minister and as a spiritual leader and teacher? If so, say, I do. I do. Woo woo. Thank you. You may be seated. It says this right there. And now I would like to ask the members and those who consider Monterey Center for Spiritual Living their spiritual home, would you please stand? You are the voice of this center. You are the ambassadors of religious science in this community and beyond. You are the backbone of the volunteers showing up, being in service. Do you promise to uphold and practice the principles of religious science moment by moment? And do you promise to uphold the vision of this center? If so, please say, I do. I do. If you happen to have a differing opinion, do you promise to meditate first? Pray, think second, and speak last? If so, please say, I do. I don't know, I don't know if they all said it. You may want to look. No.
Should we have him say?
Do you promise to give of your time, talent, and treasure to this beloved activity of God, known as the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living? If so, please say, I do. And do you accept Reverend Robert Collins as your minister and as spiritual leader and teacher? If so, please say, I do. Thank you. You may be seated. Reverend Robert, through the authority vested in me by the Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado, and acting on behalf of this congregation, I do now install you here, right now, as the minister and spiritual leader of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining to your office. Teach, heal, minister to the people. Peace be with you, brother. The God of peace dwells richly in your heart through love and makes your labors fruitful unto eternal life. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Please ask the ministers, whether you are in the room or if you are virtually joining us, to please stand. As colleagues, do you promise to give your friendship, your love, and your spiritual support to this beloved minister? I do. Thank you. You may be seated. And I do too.
Wow. Wow, that's all I can say. I am so honored and so humbled by this outturn, first of all, for all of you who have showed up to be a part of this celebration. I'm really touched. I am really touched. I appreciate you being here. In her comments, Reverend Kathleen alluded to a song from my youth, and we didn't talk about this. Some of us who are out of a traditional church may know the words to it, and that is, we've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in God's holy word. I know that God has never failed me yet. Oh, I can't turn around because I've come this far by faith. And so that's how my life has been. As I reflect back and look back on various significant points, and even before I knew what metaphysics was, or what the definition of New Thought was, anything of that nature, again, looking back, I've always manifested. And one of the things I remember, in Eric and Stephanie, I don't know if you remember this or not, but one year we were having Thanksgiving dinner as a family. And I said to the family, you need to start planning now for next year because your mother and I are going to be out of the country for Thanksgiving. And everybody, including Greer, looked at me like I had totally lost my mind. This is in November. January of the following year, one of Greer's colleagues at the university approached her and said, I am taking a small group to Egypt for a tour, and I want you and Robert to come along, and we will be there for Thanksgiving. Following year, we're in Egypt for Thanksgiving. And so that's one of the things that stands out, and the journey that started all of this, as I was talking with Kathleen, I hadn't connected the dots of my very first trip up to Asilomar. That seed was planted. And it's like any thought that we have. We plant that seed in that fertile soil, and then we nurture it. And life takes us on various journeys that take us to this point, and to this point, and to this point, bring us back. And all along the way, there's a little nutrient that is deposited in that seed that allows it to grow and grow and grow. And then it manifests as a beautiful plant that our pictures as life. And I like the way that we teach the essence of science of mind to our young people in junior church, using our teaching symbol. We use the illustration of the seed, the soil, and the plant. And so that seed that was planted in my consciousness, even before I came to Asilomar, that seed that was planted by the ancestors, the ancients of days, through the guidance of the ancestors, through the guidance of all of my spiritual teachers, both in this tradition and in the other traditions that I have been a part of, there was a deposit that was made along the way that has brought me by faith to where I am right here and right now. And I am so honored to be a part of the spiritual community. And yes, the official title says that I am the senior minister and spiritual leader. That's not how I see it. I have the privilege and the honor to be in co-ministry with this beautiful community known as the Monterey Center for Spiritual Life. And all of us who are part of our virtual community, and we're setting the intention, I am setting the intention that we continue to grow both our in-person community and our virtual community, because we truly are a virtual community that happens to be located in Monterey. Thank you to Dr. David Bruner for that. And so my heart is filled with overflowing, and I am just blessed. I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed. I am blessed beyond measure. And so thank you again for being here. Thanks for the support that I know continues, because we're all part of the family. We're all part of what is known as the body of God, the body of Christ. And as we live this Christ consciousness, as we live the life that we are designed to live, as we create the beauty that is all around us, this is truly what it means to be blessed. Thank you.
For the red one. Lights on. Hi, good afternoon. So I just want to touch on something Reverend Kathleen said about family. That she mentioned family, and you heard that from Reverend Robert. So I'm here to school you. You are cousins now. just let me tell you. Bobby, get ready. He's married. He's married in a family. We're cousins, and that's how we do it. We will be knocking on the door. We will be bringing floaties. We are bringing busloads of kids when we visit the aquarium. Just get ready, and that's what family does. Because we cousins now. Just want you to know that, and that's a blessing. We are the family. All of us here right now honoring Reverend Robert, plus those in Wonderland out there, you're welcome. Come here. Stop by. That door will be open. I told Reverend Robert a quick story, and I've come to this area a lot. And I was heading out of town, out of the area after spending a couple nights here, and I just looked up to my right, whatever the street is here, and you see, Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. So now when I come into town, I can just see the building, and I can feel that energy, and I know. And it's a beautiful center. So we cousins, we coming. Open the door. I'm just honored to wrap her up, talk about the blessings of this opportunity, the blessings of this time together, the blessings of our Uncle Robert, Uncle Reverend Robert, and the home that he's creating here, and the family that we've now come together to see in this room and to be together forever. So just center yourselves and help me as I, Reverend Tony Bradford, just align myself with that oneness, that goodness, that God we choose right here, right now to call family. There's a blood, there's an energy, there's a cord that accepts and connects each and every one of us. No one's left out. We are one. So as I, Reverend Tony Bradford, just use this mind and this love and this light of God, I am blessing the opportunity for us to come to this neighborhood, to come down here on through the fog, and that's what I did, and just enjoy the energy and the love. I'm blessing the board of directors, I'm blessing the practitioners, I'm blessing the congregants, and each and every one of you made me feel so good and welcome when I was down here. And I'm blessing the reunions. I'm blessing my fellow your family from other centers. And I'm blessing my ministerial friends. And this is something I needed. I needed to see and feel this family. Thank you for lifting and loving me up. And I know we will do that for each and every one of you, no matter what. Thank you for my word. Thank you for the blessings that I am able to bestow and make us remember that we're here for Uncle Reverend Robert. No matter where he goes, we will support him. What a blessing. So as I am grateful for this word and this opportunity, I am speaking it into the universe. I'm letting it go. Letting God, and please help me seal this by saying, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life when I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I know if you're discouraged, seeking to find another way, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it all go. Let's say that again.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta let it go. And you can sing with me. This is what we have to say. I release and I let it go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only for God. With my faith I see the light. And I'm free.
Super Bowl.